Good morning. It is Friday, November 6th. This is Maria Quattrone with Be The Solution. And today I welcome my guest, Tom Familetti with Zatos Investments. Welcome, Tom.
Hey, Maria. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a warm day in November. Can't complain.
Nope, no complaining. I said this morning, I don't want to hear any negative talk today about anything that I can't control.
Nope. Stay out of all that stuff and just enjoy a nice Friday.
Yeah, exactly. We have about 8 weeks left. I think according this week was 8 weeks left of the year. So we still have some time to get some things going so that we can have everything planned for 2021, which I'm actually looking forward to. How about you?
I think a lot of us are. So yeah, 8 weeks, it's crunch time. I love the end of the year. You kind of buckled down right before the holidays, get everything done, plan, get ready for the next year being 2021.
So this is a great time of the year to do the planning. What I've seen a lot in our industry, a lot of people start to, after Halloween, kind of slow down and gear down. And by Thanksgiving, a lot of people are off until mid-January. So people like you and I, we are going to be ahead of them because we're planning and doing and crunching and see what we can get done, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I am, how I'm built, is never really want to slow down, especially at the end of the year. I mean, we just take that as an opportunity to really plan and get set up for next year so we hit the ground running. Obviously, you want to take a break, spend time with friends and family around the holidays, but, in between those actual holidays, it's, you got to stay on your game and just continue to work and be prepared. So, no slowing down now.
Absolutely. I woke up this morning and I was thinking, wow, this is going to give me a lot more free time this year to focus more on some of the things that I have outlined that I want to finish and get done. And because usually from the weekend before the weekend before Thanksgiving until basically the end of the year is networking and parties.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm not going to be doing any of that. So I'm probably going to add maybe, I don't know. I go to about 20 things. So 3 hours, I'm going to add 150 hours to dedicate to growing the company. So I thought that was kind of cool, actually, something different this year.
I didn't even think about that. All the parties and the work stuff that you have to go to, let alone the friends and family stuff. So yeah, cutting out all the work stuff does add a lot more time.
No, Tom, listen, I'm not excited about this all not happening, just to be clear. I'm a very social person and I love parties and any excuse to, have a glass of wine and some cocktails or whatever and be with friends and family and business associates, seeing people and being seen. But it is what it is this year. So I'm going to embrace it and not be upset about it, because I actually was a little bummed out because I said, wow, this will be the first year in 20 years. I don't know that I won't be going to 20 things. So
I was looking forward. We have some new employees. I wanted to, have them experience, what we've experienced in the past few years of all the holiday parties, meeting and socializing with different people in the industry. And it's tough. Can't really do it right now.
No, but we're gonna find ways to make it okay and to still enjoy it. I had Christmas music on this morning.
Already? We're not even at Thanksgiving.
I know, but it makes me happy. So I said, hey, Google, play classical Christmas. My husband comes down and says, what are you doing? I said, I'm here by myself. You were sleeping, having my tea and my music. And I was, singing, and I don't know. I felt jolly from it. It just put a smile on my face. So
power to you. If that's what makes you happy, then I accept it. I'm usually the day after Thanksgiving, I'll start rocking out to some Christmas tunes.
Me too, but not this year. I need a little extra holly jolly Christmas going on right now. So I see people decorating their trees all over Facebook, and they're sending pictures. I thought it was pretty funny. I'm not ready to do that, but a
Not
couple
yet.
songs here and there.
It's
So
gotta
Tom,
be December for that.
so Tom, how did you get into the industry? And can you tell our guests your story?
Yeah, so I mean, the way we kind of just, my business partner and I just kind of stumbled our way into the industry. Out of college, I went to Penn State. I was working for a mortgage insurance company. So I had some general background on mortgages and the real estate industry and everything like that, just through the trainings there. I was living at home with my parents, knew I didn't want to rent somewhere, just being in the mortgage industry and with all learning everything about renting versus buying, and that's what I was selling to people, is buy a house. So I obviously wanted to buy, and we were always down in Philadelphia. We actually, my business partner and I, grew up right outside the city in Broomall, so Delaware County, and we were always down hanging out on the weekends in Philly. So wanted to move down there. I went to him and said, hey, if we go in on a house together, we can potentially, get a nicer house in a nicer neighborhood with two of us. We can have some of our buddies live with us. And so we started looking, and we found one right on 18th and Christian, Graduate Hospital. It was a fixer-upper, and we both have construction backgrounds. So we gutted the whole thing ourselves, finished it, had a couple buddies living with us, and it went well. We got it appraised. We got a line of credit on it, and we said, why don't we try this? Why don't we try to flip a house? So we did one in Point Breeze, and then one turned to another, and then another. So we had our first three going down in Point Breeze. We were working on, and they were our first ones. We didn't know anything about anything, and around that time, we started getting introduced to different people in the industry. A couple big developers who started mentoring us, and we really learned the whole new construction development, like what real estate development actually is. And with the different mentors and kind of restructuring our whole business model, we really fast tracked to multifamily new construction development. We had a big focus on the well-established neighborhoods in the cities, the Graduate Hospitals, Queen Village, Bella Vista, a lot of South Philly stuff. We've since, expanded well beyond that, but that's kind of how we got started.
So what year was it that you bought that house at 18th and Christian?
It was 2017. I think it was March 31st, 2017.
So that's pretty impressive. So in less than 4 years, you're doing multifamily, ground up, new construction, building buildings of 20 units.
Yeah, we have right now we have 178 units in development, and that's about 80 million in development. So, and it ranges anywhere from, we're finishing up some single family, what we call rehabs, or essentially single family new constructions, to 4 to 9 unit condo buildings, and then we're working on a 22 unit apartment building, a 50 unit apartment building, and they're all over the city. So pretty wide range. And we still like the well-established neighborhoods, but we like being all over the city.
Well, that's extremely impressive.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That in less than 4 years, you have $80 million in development under construction. And how'd you do it?
It was just figuring it out. That's kind of our motto in the company. We, when we run into an issue or anything, we say, figure it out. So it's just, constantly learning. We are obviously learning from mistakes. We've run into projects where we had to fire GC off the project. We're finishing it ourselves. you just keep on learning and growing. And really, it's connecting with good people, partnering with good people. That's a big, I'm a big proponent of that, is partnerships. We're in the mindset of, it's why I don't own a company by myself. I'm in the mindset of two heads are better than one. So that's why I partnered with my business partner, Xander Hagen. We brought on another partner, Ryan. We hired people. We actually just merged companies with two other developers to form a in-house construction company. So we're all about our partnerships and working with the right people. And if everyone's in line and everyone has the same goal, then you can get a lot more accomplished. So that's a little bit of how we got started, how we think.
So so what I hear is you said, figure it out. So be the solution, right?
Yep.
And the growth is through people. You can't grow without people.
No, then, if everyone's working together, has the same goal, you can get a lot more accomplished than if you're doing it on your own. So, we're all out here to, one, make our city a better place. We're all obviously here to make some money. So, if everyone works together, then it's, yeah, like I said a million times, you get a lot more done. So that's kind of how, I structured the company, me and Xander, how we structured the company. It's been going great. We have great people working with us. It's a great environment. We have fun. Some of them are longtime friends, and we make it work, and we're enjoying the ride.
Yeah, that was something that I've intrigued that you partnered with the guys, some of the people you went to college with.
Yeah, we did. So, I mean, first it was with Xander when we started, and we've heard, one, in the beginning, don't buy a house with anyone unless it's your future husband or wife, or significant other. And two, don't start a company with friends or family. So we've made it clear up front. We said, it's all about communication, open lines of communication. If we have a problem, we address it. I'm the first person who's going to call out a problem and confront it. That's just kind of who I am. And, and he understands that, and he's the same way with me. So, we've made it work, and it works great. And then we had Brian come on, was a high school friend of ours. And then we also just hired a new project manager, Nick, and he's one of my best friends since second grade. And it's the same thing. We said, listen, this is business. We're best friends, and the friendship comes first. It's all about communication. So as long as we keep everything open, lay everything on the table, and address any issues and don't let them build up, then this is going to be a very good, lasting, partnership and business that we can create. So, and I like it a lot better because there's a comfortability of, working with somebody that you already know. Like, I don't have to go out and interview people we have done this, but interview people that I don't know. And you're taking a little bit of a gamble on, if this person is who they say they are. When you're hiring somebody that it's, you already know who they are. And, I like to say I surround myself with smart, hardworking people. And so that's why I think it works out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about, adhering to your principles and values. And when you already know the people that are your friends adhere to the same thing, it's easy to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And I like what you said. It's, addressing if there's anything that comes up. I mean, one of the things is embracing conflict is one of the biggest things, and one of the hardest things for leaders to do. Most people don't want to embrace conflict. They want to, bury it deep down, and then, all of a sudden, explosion.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I think, in any aspect of life, is whether it's a relationship, whether it's business, it's something that could be, very disruptive if, you let it boil up. So that's why I'm very open. Everyone who works with me knows that. I'm going to be the first one to speak my mind, let you know if I'm not happy with something. And that's what, and it works. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are some of your biggest challenges right now with, I know so definitely tougher to build in the city than it was before, and it was already tough. So what are some of the things that you're dealing with right now that you're, working through?
I'd say the biggest thing right now is the city itself. With COVID, everyone went remote. So the city L&I license inspection went to the online Eclipse system. So everything has to be processed through there. Talking with the inspectors, when prior to this, it was, you build a relationship with some inspectors. They know who you are. You call them up, say, hey, I need the inspection. But now it all has to go through the system, which is, obviously an imperfect system. And it just slows up the process, and it's hard to get in contact with the plans examiners. It's hard to get in contact with the inspectors, and it's just, it adds potentially months onto projects. So that's one of the biggest issues we're dealing with. Other things are, material, prices.
Just supply chain.
Yeah. Lumber prices were really high kind of mid-COVID. They're starting to drop down a little bit. Appliances are very hard to get. So that's obviously something we're continuing to work through and make sure we're planning out, when we need to order something, make sure we have enough lead time there so that, putting a fridge and a range in a kitchen isn't the thing delaying the project. So there are two pretty big things that are keeping us up at night. But other than that, we, like I said, we figure it out. We work around it.
Rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling.
Your product is very nice. It's done very, very well. You have a good architect there that you work with.
We do. We worked with Gnome Architects a lot. We work with a few other ones, but we work with Gnome a lot on our for sale stuff, whether it's our condo buildings, our single family homes. And they're great. We formed a great relationship with them. We love what they do, and it fits what we do very well. We do all of our own interior designing, picking out the finishes, and they're kind of on the same page, when it comes to designing the exterior buildings. When we're in the grad hospitals and the Queen Villages, we don't want to build an ultra modern house that stands out and sticks out like a sore thumb. We want to, have those aspects of being contemporary modern, but also blend in with the traditional Philadelphia row home. We like the red brick. We use it a lot. So we like to be respectful of the neighborhood we're in and the history of the neighborhood, but also doing things outside the box that makes us stand apart. So it's a good balance that I think, obviously speaks for itself, but we always want to just continue to think like that. And we think like I said, it sets us apart.
That's great. So do you have an in-house designer on staff, or?
You're looking at them.
Oh gosh, you pick out all the finishes. It's really nice.
Thank you.
You have an amazing eye for style.
Thank you. I think it kind of runs in the family, but we also, it's a team effort. I'll put something together, whether it's inspirations from Instagram or Pinterest or stuff I see online, and I'm constantly looking at new things, and I'll just take that, or even go online and all over the country and look at $10 million homes, see what they're designing, but then, value engineer that to the houses that we're building. So, I'll put a concept packet together, and then I'll sit down with the team and we'll review it, and we'll, say, all right, let's do this tile here, but let's do this. So it is a team effort, but that's what I enjoy doing. That's the one thing
that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part of it. Watching the construction go up and designing it. That's the fun part. All the other stuff is, headaches, but
A necessary evil to get it done.
yeah, yes, exactly. So Yeah, it might get to a point where we do have to third party that, but right now, when you're enjoying it, that's, yeah, I want to be doing that stuff. So
Well,
um,
you can't take away the whipped cream and the cherry on the top.
I know then it's no fun.
Then it's no fun. Just plain vanilla ice cream. You
Yeah,
get tired of that real quick.
I know.
So, do you design each house? Are they all unique to themselves, or do you have a certain um, type prototype that you follow for each one, or how do you do that?
No, everyone we try to be unique. I mean, obviously, when you're doing like we were doing a house on Cater Street and another house that is almost identical on Cater Street. When we've as we're growing and the volume of the projects picks up, and our time is on each project spread a little thin, it is easier a little bit to say, all right, let's just order the same cabinets. We'll switch up the tile a little bit. We could do the same hardwood floors. So it works on one and it's probably going to work on two, but then after that, we don't want every single project looking exactly the same. So that's when we'll diversify. So you'll see some carryover from our projects just because, but depending on the timing, you could get the materials, the same stuff like that. But for the most part, we want every project to be somewhat different. And then, once we get from one project, then we're looking at a whole nother project. That's going to be a whole different design. So it all depends, but for the most part, they're relatively different.
Is there any like little things that you do that are in all your houses? Like you add a certain feature or anything like that?
Nothing, not one signature thing. We've been doing I like a lot of curbless showers where it's, we're carrying the tile from the floor up the back of the shower wall.
I love that.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We do a lot of wood tones mixed in, whether it's wood tone cabinets or, a lot of these houses, whether we're knocking them down, or if it's a renovation, we're still essentially knocking 90% of it down. We have old floor joists, so reusing them as open shelving or, different features and stuff like that. So there's some common themes you'll see. I wouldn't say we have one signature where we use this colored door every time or something like that, but just themes like that we like to carry throughout.
That's cool. So how are sales right now?
Sales are, I mean, a lot of our stuff is in construction, but the last house we sold, or actually we sold a condo building and a single family house in the middle of COVID, and there wasn't any, major delays. I'd like to attribute it to the neighborhoods we're in and obviously our product. I think that now the market's still hot with interest rates being low. So if you have a good product, and you're in the right location, that it's gonna move. So, both projects being Grad Hospital, we're seeing a lot of medical professionals, with University City being, right across the river, and the meds and eds over there booming with CHOP and Penn. The medical professionals love that area just because they could walk to work. So that's what we've been seeing a lot of. And, like I said, with interest rates being low, people are still looking to buy houses. So I think we're at a point now where the delay from COVID has hit, and then now we're getting back to normal, where you're starting to see a little slowdown just because it's fall and getting into the holidays and everything like that. But nothing, I don't think, anything crazy, no major impacts.
Yeah. Are you doing any pre-construction sales or?
We are. We have a 6-unit condo. Well, phase one is 6-unit condo on 19th and Bainbridge, and then we have phase two that's right next to it. It's 7 more units, so 13 total units. We have 2 of them under contract already on phase one.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So we work with a few Go Realtors, and we try to pre-sell a lot of these, and it's really about our marketing that. We're doing 3D walkthroughs, 3D renderings, and putting together a whole packet so you could see what it looks like. And I think that really helps. It's, we've actually yesterday you walk buyers through a couple houses, and there, if it's just framed up, it's hard for certain people to visualize what's there. So having those marketing materials really help gets the job done and push it along, as opposed to waiting until the product's finished.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's huge because most people don't have the capability to visualize what that looks like, especially they're buying their first house.
Yeah, and it's just like we do it every day, and we walk through it every day. So I could walk into a room, even if it's, or I could walk onto a blank piece of land and see what can be done there. So it is hard for first time home buyers who this is their first time actually looking at all the details of houses and to visualize it. And it's crazy. Right when you get into this industry, we can't walk into any house without noticing every little detail, whether it's the trim or like a missing paint spot or stuff like that. And it's a blessing and a curse.
Oh, it's definitely, it's something else.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that. I notice everything. And in my own house, it's like, okay, the shoemaker kids that have holes in the shoes.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we get this thing fixed over here? Like, I don't know.
It's everything. I walk into a new construction, I walk into an old home, and I'm just picking apart everything in my mind just because that's how it's trained to work right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you love design. That's the fun part for you. And you have partners that do a lot of the other stuff that you don't like, right?
Yeah. As we brought on Rye, he runs a lot of the financials. So that helps out a lot. Keeping the books early on with me and Xander was, I wouldn't say a mess, but wasn't far from that. So Rye, helps with that. We just brought on Valentina, who's really helping with our marketing, and she's doing great with that. And that's just kind of how running a business is. You can't do everything at once, and if you think you can, you're crazy. So it's bringing on the right people that can take control and run what their specialty is, and and not micromanage them, which is huge. So they come on, I said, this is yours, figure it out. Let me know if you have any questions, we can work on it together. But other than that, do it however you see fit.
Yeah, that's the most important part. I think, not the most, but one of the most important part, not micromanaging and allowing people to do what you brought them in to do. And then saying, okay, well, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Not why didn't you do it? Because that's like, I was like the worst offender of that word. Why? No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what needs to happen to make it happen? And then if it doesn't happen again, it's like, okay, this isn't working out too well. And I think it's our duty though, too, to as leaders and owners of businesses to, if somebody's not doing what they need to do, to allow them to go back out into the world and do something that they love and that's better fit for them, because we're holding them back if we're not telling them the truth. That's been my experience, especially this year. I've seen it.
Yeah.
A lot. And that's not an easy thing to do, but I think that it's really extremely critical that it is done.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that. I mean, we've seen it from the point I said earlier where we had to fire a general contractor off it. I mean, I'm fortunate enough now that the team that I have working directly with me on Zados they're great. And I haven't ran into that yet, but we've seen it, like I said, you fire a contractor off and it's just like, it's better for both of them. This is a project that's weighing you down, obviously, because, you're not performing on it and it's weighing us down. So let's just cut our losses and move on. And I think the same translates to if an employee is in that same position. But yeah, again, it's all about the communication. Like I said, you're upfront with them and say, hey, this isn't working out. I think this is for the best. Then, I think that works out.
I think that a lot of people are surprised that the real estate industry is so busy right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think once COVID hit, everyone was pretty, beside themselves, what was going to happen. And we saw a little bit of a delay for, a month or so, but with interest rates being low, people not want to be cooped up, people wanting bigger houses because they're stuck in their houses. All these different factors are weighing into, the housing market to continue to grow and be strong. And so it was surprising because if you asked me right when everything went down, I wouldn't have told you this was happening. So, yeah.
After 10 weeks or however long, people being stuck in their house, 3 months, 4 months, in some cases, people still aren't leaving their houses. They're afraid. You could be in a 2-bedroom apartment and you're going to buy a 2-bedroom, 2-story house, or you're in a 2-story house and you want a 3-story townhome, or you're in a 3-story townhome and you want to buy a single family home with a big yard, out in, the suburbs of Philadelphia, Chestnut Hill, Mount Airy, all out that way, or the suburbs, or moving over to either Mainline or Jersey. So there's a lot of movement. I mean, there is a lot of movement, and real estate as we know it and the way people live is being rewritten as we speak. We're in the midst of it right now. And I think that, we're not really seeing any of the economic effects of COVID just yet. I think that's not going to come until sometime next year. We're seeing more of a K-shaped recovery where some businesses are going up and some are just done. Like not even going down, done, decimated, between hospitality, theater, arts, restaurants. Think about all the people that work in those industries, entire industries, shut down or doing very little business. And there's people that work in those industries at all levels. It's not just, it's all walks of life. It's the high earn, the executive that makes a ton of money, and it's the person that's, giving out the tickets for $12 an hour. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with all that. And I do think it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of movement next year also in real estate with people still selling and moving.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what we're trying to figure out now is, are people, everyone thinks people are moving out of the cities just because, you're seeing the restaurants aren't there, and everyone being in the city environment with the bars and entertainment, and you can't do that now. And that's the appeal of living in the city. Are people going to start migrating to the suburbs? And we're seeing the suburbs market is on fire now. You can't buy a house out there just because there's multiple offers. I mean, we did a rehab out in Broomall in the middle of COVID, and we were in and out in 3.5 months because I think our realtor Jim Roach posted Instagram, and that's how he sold the house. So
go for Jim.
Yeah, and but at the same time, we're also seeing, if we're talking about the Philadelphia market in general, like I said before, we're seeing the meds and eds are booming. Chop and Jefferson and Penn are, really expanding. So we're seeing an influx of medical professionals coming to the city. We're seeing a lot of New Yorkers. I mean, our past few showings have been a lot of New York couples or, single men or women coming down and trying to get out of New York and coming to Philly. So, I think the city's going to come back. Yeah, eventually the restaurants are going to come back. And, we're still in a growth period, and, we're still expanding. So I think we're going to do just fine.
Well, I don't think everybody's leaving the city. I think that, to your point, the medical especially, people want to live close to the hospital that they work at. So there are people that, it's just the people that were already wanting to 100% moved up their date. If they said, I'm going to be leaving in 2 years or 3 years or, in the next 4 years, a lot of people said, let's do that now. So we still have lots of people living in the city. It's just, It's just, it's different. It's different types of people. If you don't have to go to Comcast anymore, and Comcast says you can work from wherever. We had a family leave graduate to go to Reading because, one of the things that's very interesting, Tom, a lot of the families that we've been helping are moving to be closer to their family. They have family in Mullica Hill. They have family in California. They have family in Florida, Myrtle Beach. They're moving to be closer to their family because with COVID, they couldn't be with them. So if they're in their own little bubble, then they could see their mom and dad or vice versa, their kids. And that's something that I haven't seen that in the entire time I've been in the industry. Sometimes you hear, well, I'm going to want to be closer to my kids, but not like at this rate.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's being rewritten as we sit here.
Yeah, everything's getting a little shaken up, and the way people are thinking and their buying decision is just constantly changing. I mean, even from the amenities in a house, we're looking at, you got to have an office space. You have to have room for people to work from home now when you're building and designing these homes, and it's huge. And a lot of people ran into an issue. They're stuck at home and not prepared to be coexisting at all times with whoever they're living with, whether it's a roommate or a significant other, and you're on top of each other and you don't have your separate workspaces, and it causes issues. So, that's stuff that we're looking at when we're designing apartment buildings, is having private, office spaces that you could rent out, or a private conference room. And whether it's single family homes or condos, just creating a little nook or something that you can have your own private workstation there. So it's changing all aspects of, people's buying decisions, and then even the design of us, putting out our products.
Yeah. NAR did a survey of home buyers. 35% wanted a dedicated office space. That's a big percentage. Makes sense. If you're not going to your office, nobody bought houses saying, when they come, oh, I want 3 bedrooms and an office, or 2 offices, or, people didn't do that.
Yeah.
That wasn't a criteria ever. It's rare that somebody would say that. Living in the city, especially, mostly, I mean, in the suburbs is a little bit different. You have more space, but definitely, I think like the smaller units are going to be tough. I do think that you're going to see people wanting much larger homes than they've been accustomed to. So that 2,200 square feet home may need to be 3,500 square feet or 3,000 square feet.
I do think people are going to want bigger units and everything, but again, it's all relative. If you're selling to someone who's ready to buy, but they were living in a 1-bedroom, 500 square feet.
Well, then they'll want a 2-bedroom.
Yeah. Or, we have 1 bedroom, 700 square foot. So it's all relative, but yes, I think from a buyer perspective, they're going to want to, try to squeeze every penny they can to upgrade that just for the size alone, and obviously location. But
yeah, location, only 3 things we have: location, condition, and pricing.
Yep.
Can't change the location.
Nope.
You change the condition, and then you set the price based on it.
Yeah.
And that's what, I always say, location, location, location. It's still the number one thing in real estate.
It is. And that's why we will admit it, we're not pioneers. We're not going out to the outskirts of the up and coming neighborhoods. And being the first ones there, we like the established neighborhoods. Even though there's more competition and, it's harder to get land there. When you do get it, it's, the locations, like you said, it's one of the biggest things in any home that you're buying. So if not the biggest thing. So yeah, that's why it's that we like being in those established neighborhoods that we know that the buyer pool is there and we know people want to live there.
Yeah. So that's what Graduate, Queen Village, Bella Vista.
Yeah. Fishtown. We have townhomes coming up in Fishtown.
Where about?
Cumberland Street. We just purchased the land last week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. 9 townhomes, parking, the whole 9 yards. So we're excited about that one.
That's awesome. You have
Yeah.
you have a lot going on.
We do. It's fun. Sometimes crazy. Sometimes you sit back and you're like, how am I doing all this right now? But like I said, you figure it out, and it's fun.
You have a great spirit about you, Tom. Do you do anything for your mindset to keep it strong, and or you just naturally like that?
I've toyed with a bunch of different techniques and stuff. I mean, I used to try meditation. I used to do just mental programming in the morning that's just quicker.
What's that?
It's just where, we walk through in your mind different stuff, what you're grateful for, your goals of the day and everything. And it's real quick, instead of just because meditation is very hard from my experience and from me reading and everything, is very hard to master. I'm also known to start something or start a book and not be able to finish it. And that's separate than, my business, where if I'm starting something, I'm finishing it. So I've kind of unfortunately got away from most of that stuff right now. I'm just kind of up. I get to the gym in the morning. That's how I really clear my head. I make sure I'm not working, right before bed. I have a little bit of time to decompress, watch TV, just hang out. And that's, kind of where I am now. But, some days are just crazy, and my mind just goes to mush because so much going on. But you got to roll with the punches.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for sharing with our viewers your story, and I wish you the continued success and that you have a wonderful holiday season with your family, and that you continue to keep being the solution, Tom.
Marie, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I love the podcast. I love what you're doing. Hopefully, in a year or so, when things are changing up, I can be on here again. I would love to. Like you said, I hope you guys you and your family has a great holiday, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.